We'll take a look at the same problem we just solved in the last video, but we're going to use what I would call a more intuitive method. And this is really the method that if you look in most textbooks, that most textbooks give. And the nice part about this method is it makes it much easier for you to solve the problem. You can do it much faster. The flaw in this method is that unless you're really good at it and you've done a lot of problems and you know what to look for and how to really check your answer properly, it's very easy to leave something out and then you'll get the wrong answer. Okay, but the way that we would typically look at this if we're solving a problem is we could say, well, we're applying a force F to these masses 1, 2, and 3. So what we'll do is we'll take all three of them and we'll just think about this as if they were one giant object with a mass m1 plus m2 plus m3. So if we look at this combined object, then we see that the net force is equal to F in the x direction, 0 in the y direction. And this is going to be equal to the mass of this object times its acceleration, which is m1 plus m2 plus m3 times a in the x direction and 0. In other words, a is equal to F over m1 plus m2 plus m3. So you see that this is the same exact answer that we got in the last video, and we just did it in about probably 10 to 20 times less time. So you're probably wondering to yourself now, why not use this all the time? Right? Using the other method, seems kind of like using a sledgehammer to put a tack, in your tack board. There's no reason for that. It seems like you're going to an awful lot of trouble when you don't really need it. And I agree that for a problem like this, that's correct. But you can start getting more complicated problems where it's not using this more intuitive method might not get you the right answer because there could be complicated things going on that you're not really thinking about. And if you miss those, you're going to be completely off. So, in general, I would stick to the method that your book uses. But then you can try and use the intuitive method to check your answer because, you see how quickly it was to do this. And if you get different answers using both the intuitive method and your book's method, then you can go back and look at both of them and see where you might have made a mistake and try and get them to match. So it really gives you two different ways to look at the problem and another way to check your answer. And as you're probably realizing now, units is really good for checking your answer, checking if it makes sense to check your answer. And now having two different ways to solve it gives you another way to make sure that you're on the right track.